All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Hunter Caparelli.
And I'm Nicole Camilleri.
And welcome to the 2021 Science Research Symposium.
Tonight we'll be celebrating the culmination of the seniors' work over the past 3 years in science research.
Mr. Pick and Ms. Holmes can fact check me on this fact, but this is the first time since 2016 where we have a male-female duo as MCs, and it's the first time in 5 years where we have a female MC in general, so I think that deserves a little round of applause.
Hopefully next year we can maybe even get 2 rising Saturday seniors as MCs for next year's symposium.
We have a great show for you tonight. Our 2 keynote speakers, even though they're not here in person, we have a pre-recorded video. It's Mr. Jason Gates and Mr. Benjamin Jahabar. I'm really excited to hear what they have to say. So let's get right into it. First up, we would like to introduce our assistant principal who has no limits whatsoever. He's the director of science, engineering, mathematics, and world languages, Mr. Christopher DeMattia.
How do I live up to that? Is there something up here I could use?
You can try, sorry.
Always. Following you two is tough. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 2021 Ossining High School Science Symposium. I really appreciate all of those involved making tonight happen. And I tell you, walking through those doors felt so good to see how everything was set up, all the planning and thinking and innovation. Let's start with a round of applause for everybody who made this happen. I would expect nothing less than this approach from our science research teachers and students. I am inspired by the possibilities as our research students and families become a part of the tradition of the story of science. This year has shown how science can help to inform, give us direction and hope, both as a community, a school, and as individuals. And I wish for all of you the discovery of potential, courage, creativity, and how you can use science for good. And that starts with self-discovery. And what I wish for all of you is to believe in yourselves and to use your ability to think critically for good, and to be good to and for each other. I hope you can use the skills and science to always be a part of the conversation, no matter what life throws at you. Use the wonder, the methodology, the pursuit of truth, to seek balance as individuals, but also to help balance society with all that I know that you will bring to the table. And the magic of the science research program here tonight, we know it's not just about the understanding of concepts and the scientific reasoning, but an understanding and a belief, above all, in people. So congratulations on all of the success and learning that is represented here tonight. Mr. Piccirillo and Ms. Holmes continue to share their magic and passion for science and lead the way to possibility. Thank you.
Next up, we'd like to introduce our extraordinary principal of Ossining High School, Mr. Stephen Hancock.
It's kind of hard to follow a scientist because I'm a former social studies teacher, so I'm not going to be as scientist like Mr. Manning, even though I've learned a lot from him over the last 4 years in regards to science. So my remarks tonight is, first of all, you deserve a tremendous round of applause for what you've accomplished over the last year. You have taken on science research like no other students that have come before you. So give yourselves a round of applause. In the middle of a global pandemic, you still found a way to do your research, work with your mentors, collect your data, analyze your data, and present in a platform that none of us had really ever used before. And that's admirable. You also serve as role models to our younger students, future science research, our youngest freshmen coming into the program. You are their inspiration. You leave your legacy here at Ossining High School. You also have a tremendous support network. One of the things that makes science research special is the family atmosphere that I know you create. From your gatherings to sharing of food, which did happen towards the end of the school year, which is a staple of what you do, to the back and forth joking with Mr. Pick and Ms. Holmes. Give them a round of applause because they are like mom and dad for science research. Without them and everything that they've done for our school and for you, this program would not be possible. But we continue to be not only a national competitor, but a global competitor, right, because of you, our students. I'm currently pursuing my own doctorate right now in ed leadership, and I have learned so much about the research that you all have done and how to do research appropriately, how to present in an IRB, which I have the pleasure of sitting with each of you to do. So congratulations to you. Congratulations on doing what seemed like the impossible in a very challenging year. Congratulations.
All right. Next up, we'd like to introduce our beloved Superintendent of Ossining Public Schools, Dr. Raymond Sanchez.
All right, good evening, everybody. First of all, I was interviewing some candidates for positions here in the Ossining School District, and they asked me, true story, they asked me, why is your science research program so successful? And immediately shared that there are a couple ingredients, so I'm just gonna go into some equations. When you put great students, and you add great educators, and you add great support, you get great results. So we have great students here in the Ossining School District, dedicated students that work hard, they persevere, and because of that, we add the great educators in Mr. Pick and Mrs. Holmes who help and support on a daily basis. There is not one moment where they don't stop to support our students. They're texting, they're back and forth. That's the true dedication of an educator in the Ossining community or in our Ossining schools, plus the support they receive from our building leaders, and obviously the support they get from our families. So it's all of those ingredients that help to make our program the program that it is, and I don't think that's anything that any of us can take for granted. With that too, to our students, and I've said this every year, said it in every video, message that I've had an opportunity to share. Beyond the science, remember all the skills that you're learning, because what you're learning are skills that are gonna stay with you for life. The public speaking skills, the writing skills, the time management, those are all lifelong skills. And honestly, some of them I wish I was even better at, i.e. the time management pieces. But you've learned that and you've persevered and you've done this in a time that's been very, very challenging. And so to each and every one of you, I want to congratulate you. I want to make sure that you know how proud we are of all that you're accomplishing. The last piece I would just add is this element of community, because you don't do this without the support of your community. And I've seen how you've come together, and I'm confident that as you graduate, our seniors move on to life outside of Ossining, that you will continue to be there to support each other, that folks will be reaching out to each other the way you've done throughout this period of time. And that, again, is not lost in our work and as we look out to our students. So I know you'll each be successful. We look forward to hearing, reading, and seeing all that you're able to accomplish, and I wish you much happiness in your career outside of Ossining. Congratulations to everybody.
Before we move on, I just want to mention the fact that this room is literally full of geniuses. So hypothetically, we really shouldn't have any trip-ups with technology or anything, but we say that every year. So if we do end up having a trip-up, just be patient. We're trying our best.
Next up on our program, we'll be presenting our amazing and spectacular symposium slideshow created by seniors Sally Mestridge, Catalina Merledet LaRocca, and Genevieve Ferran, and juniors Aaron Song and Orlando Osgood.
This year's slideshow illustrates our year in science research and highlights all of our students, but especially our science research seniors. We hope you enjoy.
Hi. Now it's going to Sally.
Everybody's talking, no one says a word. Everybody's making no one really care. There's matches in the bathroom, just a little instead. Always something happening, I'm knocking on the Always something cooking, I'm knocking in the pot. There's nothing like a child, so finish what you got. Nobody told me to be like these. Nobody told me to be like these. Nobody told me to be like these. Strange days indeed. Strange days indeed. Everybody's running. I know it's too long. Everybody's running. I know it's too long. The lonely and the high to the long can do. Everybody's fine. I know it's this world's moving. You just gotta let it ride. Nobody told me to be like these. Nobody told me to be like these. Nobody told me to be like these. Strange days indeed. Oh, peculiar, mama. Everybody's smoking. Everybody's getting high. Everybody's flying. Everybody's scared. You and over you. I get to cry. Nobody told me that to be like these. Nobody told me that to be like these. Nobody told me that to be like these. Strange days indeed. Most peculiar, mama. There is freedom within. There is freedom without. There's a battle ahead, many battles all along, so keep on seeing the road by. Hey now, don't you hey between us, no I won't win. Now I'm telling my car, there's a hole in the roof. I'm searching, that's no like I died, till tomorrow and wise, turn right over to the TV page. Hey now, don't dream it's all. Hey now, when the world comes in, between us, we know there won't be. Walking again to the beat of the drum, and I'm counting the steps to the door of your heart. The shadows ahead, you're declaring the room, getting information and relief. Hey now, don't do
Pretty cute. Now we'd like to introduce our long-anticipated keynote speakers, Odin Frickin' Frack, their senior year of high school, Mr. Jason Gates and Mr. Benjamin Shahebar. Virtual.
Science Research. I'm Ben. I'm Jason. And today we're so excited to be giving the keynote. We graduated from OHS in 2007, where our claim to fame was winning frickin' frack in the yearbook superlatives. It's really great to see how much the science research program has grown over the years. All the investments, all the success, which certainly couldn't be attributed to our performance at WestEv. But nonetheless, we're really honored that you asked us to give the keynote today. For context, we were in science research not too long ago. I was designing energy-efficient cooking pots for the developing world, and Jason was building a system that uses lasers to track the health of cells in lymph nodes. Today, we're co-founders of Compology, where we build a waste metering system. The same way that you can track how much electricity, water, or natural gas you use, we enable businesses to do that for waste and recycling. We have 163,000 sites that we monitor across the United States, Canada, and Mexico, and work with brands like McDonald's, Starbucks, and Nordstrom's. A lot of the challenges that we've encountered over the last 8 years as we've been growing our business, we can track back to things that we learned when we were in science research. Today, we're hoping to talk through a couple of those lessons that we think might be transferable to you as you move from OHS out into the rest of the world. One of our most memorable experiences from science research really was the people. It was from the students to the teachers to the mentors, really the whole community of science research, even in other schools. Really the lesson we learned from that was by surrounding yourself with very smart, very capable people, you all can feed off each other's energy and push each other to do much more than you would have done yourself. At Compology, we realized this importance and spent a lot of our time focusing on recruiting and retaining the best people. The people that we brought on to the Compology team have helped innovate with product design, sales, and really helped the business grow to what it is today. One of the things that Ben and I have really had to learn how to do is give up some of the control of the company to these other much more capable people than us. And at first, that feels a little bit awkward, but once you see the impact that these other people can have on growing the business, it becomes really empowering and fun to see. As I'm sure everyone here can appreciate with their science research projects, there's no substitute for hard work. Putting in the hours is what helped make your project what it is today. And I think when Jason and I were starting Compology, reading all these stories of startups in the media about these overnight successes, I think we thought that maybe it'd be easy as well. And I think, surprise, it's not. It's actually a lot of hard work. So, when Jason and I were getting our first 20 customers, we were going around locally in Westchester and knocking on doors to see who wanted our product. And we got turned down a lot of times. When we had our first big deployment with a customer in Nebraska and things didn't go well, we were soldering electronics in our hotel room for a week to make things better. So really the learnings from all the hard work in science research and putting in the time and the effort, it does pay off. It really does condition you for the hard work that you're inevitably going to have to put in, whether it's a startup, in school, or your career. We have really fond memories of our bi-weekly meetings with Mr. P and Ms. Holmes, 40 points every week. And when we were going over our product updates with them, they would always ask why, over and over again. And to be honest, at the time, we thought this was super annoying. Like, you got no other questions? But reflecting on it now, why is actually a really great question to ask, because it really makes you dig much, much deeper into the problem you're trying to solve. Digging deeper by continually asking why gets to the root of a problem you're trying to solve, or the reason you're doing something. And it ensures you start by understanding what problem you're actually solving versus finding fixes to symptoms. At Compology, we're selling something that our customers and investors have likely never heard of before. They don't really care that we put cameras into dumpsters to track the fullness. What they care about is their dumpsters are 50% full when they get collected. And by using technology to correct that problem, we can save them a lot of money. So when you're thinking about gaining support for an idea or a project that you're leading on, remember to start with why. Mr. P and Ms. Holmes have a lot of good qualities about them, but one that really stands out to us in particular is their ability to bring humor to really bad and uncomfortable or difficult situations. So we all know with science research, your products are never smooth sailing. You hit a lot of road bumps along the way, challenges in successfully completing the project. And Mr. P and Ms. Holmes be able to come to the table with a joke that just relaxes everybody so that you can think clearly and get back to actually tackling the problems at hand was always a really valuable lesson for us. Last year during the pandemic, we had plenty of inventory of the sensors that we use to meter dumpsters. And this year, our customer demand has far outpaced the inventory that we have available because of some global supply shortages of electronic components, which is pretty much completely out of our control. We remember really vividly having conversations about how much inventory we had on hand and not needing to place additional orders. And now we've been able to sit with our team and laugh about how short-sighted that point of view was. So being able to laugh about the situation and see the humor has lightened the tone in a way that's allowed us to think a little bit more creatively, to come up with great solutions, to work with our suppliers on making sure that we continue to get the inventory we need, and even repurposing some old inventory and upgrading it for use today. So the next time that you're in a situation that seems really bad, take a second to step back, look at the humor in it, take a deep breath before you proceed. We've always known that science research was a lot of work, a ton of fun, and extremely gratifying. But putting together a thought for this keynote was really fun to reflect back on how impactful science research has been on our careers. So, 15 years removed, we can say that without a doubt, it's all worth it. So thank you again for inviting us to the symposium. Big congratulations on not only graduating high school, but completing science research. And we know that all of you are on a clear path to success. You have fun. See everybody. See ya.
Some great tips and advice from our keynote speakers there. That was really great. Coming up next on our program, we will be presenting our awe-inspiring senior movie created by our three stooges in science research, Nick Tupru, Christopher Silva, and Victor Lavaglia. They will be sharing some words from our fellow seniors.
This movie just needs somebody to go out. No, we're not letting him in. We're not, no. If we open the door, he's gonna come in. I gotta make sure you gotta lock him. What is your favorite thing about Stockton?
Oh, it's a nice community, you know, lots of great people, lots of great support, and it's just generally very nice.
My favorite thing about science research is probably that, this sounds really cheesy and generic, but it's really like a family.
There's all people in the science research room that you can go in and hang out with, and they just laugh and make you happy at any point during the day.
I really enjoy like the collaboration with Mr. Pick and like having the opportunity to do research outside of school. Also enjoy food day.
It really gets you to get really disciplined and organized, and just the workload, it really forces you to really improve your work ethic.
Describe Pig.
Pig can be scary, and like, you know, he is a little like brutally honest and blunt, but you know, on his good side, he's really funny and fun to be around, and I wouldn't have wished for a different teacher. Okay. Pig is very blunt, he definitely won't sugarcoat anything, and he can be mean at times, but he definitely has a soft spot.
Very loud.
Pig is an annoying little weasel that secretly cares about his students a lot.
He stops at basically nothing to help us succeed.
Mr. Pig is, as a sophomore, he's terrifying. And then when you're a junior, he's like still terrifying. But then once you get to your senior year after STS, he's like a teddy bear.
Everybody complains about Pig and thinks that he's really harsh, but he's a really big teddy bear if you get to know him. Holmes also cares so much about all of her students.
And Holmes is the friendliest person I've met. She helped me a lot during my project. Especially when finding a mentor and doing all that stuff.
Very caring.
She's like a mother.
She's definitely the mom of science research. Everyone knows this.
She makes it very known that she's there to do whatever you need.
Very nice, very kind, very supportive.
Miss Holmes is the nicest person on this planet, and she supports you in everything you do.
Describe your worst science research moment.
My worst science research moment was during my interview and Pick asked me why my geometry grade was so low.
First time that Mr. Pick yelled at me, it was a very scary experience when I moved the date of my biweekly the night before, and he doesn't like it when you do that, so don't do that.
When my mentor ghosted me.
I went to Somers with my hair tied up.
Probably the weeks before submitting to STS.
Holding up the all-nighters that I pulled to finish quarterly reports, like STS, stuff like that.
I don't know, doing quarterlies the night before every single time.
Describe your favorite science research.
Michael falling off chairs, like, at any given moment in time.
Probably placing first at WhatsApp in my category and getting money. I like the money that comes along with winning prizes. WhatsApp was definitely my favorite fair, but I was placing first at backstage messages.
Are you recording?
Okay.
My favorite science research memory was finding out that I was an STS semi-finalist, and I remember Nicole FaceTimed me and people started crying.
Food days are great. Finding out that I won Regeneron Science Talent Search.
Who's the scariest person in science research?
Definitely Michael.
Michael Pavlicek for sure.
Michael Pavlicek.
Michael Pavlicek.
Michael.
Michael Pavlicek.
Michael Pavlicek.
Michael Pavlicek.
Michael.
You have been described as the most intimidating, the most scary senior in science research by almost every single person in the interview. What do you have to say about that?
That's not true.
Yes, she's the most intimidating senior. And you are the most intimidating senior. What do you have to say?
Is this a joke? I am the most loving, caring senior out there. You know me.
So, in your opinion, she's the most intimidating senior.
You're the most intimidating senior.
And it's not you. You.
Yeah, of course. It's me. Chris remembers, right?
Alright, first of all, why would you care?
Next up, we'd like to introduce our incredible senior speaker, someone who's gotten me through the past few years in science research, Miss Lizzie Carpenter.
Sorry, I'm short. Okay. Science research has always been a famous institution discussed in odd tones by elementary school teachers and eager parents. High schoolers doing world-class research, going on to top colleges, and winning international science fairs. Well, that was what I wanted. I wanted to win prizes, get praise on the OUFSD Instagram, and go to a top college. It seems selfish and superficial now, but as a power-hungry third grader, science research seemed like the perfect place for me. I'm pretty sure my mom still has a video of when I got in. Needless to say, I was very happy. But science research did not exactly go the way I planned it. I started sophomore year completely terrified of the science research seniors, the classroom, and especially Mr. Picarillo. I usually walked past the classroom at least 3 times before getting up the nerve to walk in and face Pic's withering glare. My summer was spent at a lab I didn't like with a mean mentor, and I ultimately received poor data that I was sure would leave me medalist for the rest of my time in science research. Knowing I did not return to that lab, the whole program rallied and helped me find another mentor. We all suffered together through sleepless nights and entered the science research every morning of our junior year as zombies, now too tired to notice Pick's glare. Then COVID hit, and once again, the program rallied to find the opportunities virtually. The STS finish line was approaching, and I was being carried towards it by everyone in the program. I was ultimately able to compete and become the jaded, carefree senior now in front of you, who skips class every day and loudly sits in the science research room, now enjoying Pick's glare. Science research is undeniably hard. It pushes you more than you've ever been pushed. You are asked to do things that high schoolers normally don't do. Most of the time, your data doesn't work out the way you want it to, and at some point, you'll lose a competition, unless you're Nicole Camilleri. She does. But if you asked me whether I regretted joining science research, whether I regret spending hours making graphs or reading papers, whether I regret the 2 months I spent working at lab every day instead of spending time with friends and family, my answer is no. Science research is unequivocally the most transformative and valuable activity I've ever participated in, by a long shot. Pick and Holmes taught us how to ask the important questions, work hard, communicate, write, and become full human beings ready to enter the world and leave our marks. But by far, the most special, wonderful part of the science research program is the community that Pick and Holmes have created for us. Take one look around the science research room and you can tell that you didn't just join a program, you joined a family. Prison Mike looks kindly down from the ceiling. Miss Holmes eagerly awaits our gossip every morning. Pick walks in giving us cheesy bread, and ridiculous quotes from our wise ancestors line the walls. For those of you who don't know what the quote wall is, it is a wall of printed quotes from Pick, Holmes, and generations of science research students that line the science research room. To give you a couple examples, some of my favorites include, be kind to people, but if they screw you, screw them twice as hard. You guys are like the landmark diner, either you're up or you're down. And of course, all 4-letter words are bad, like love, hate, and pick. All those sleepless nights were greeted by mornings of laughter, teasing by Pick, and the horrible smell of 30 different foods wafting down the hall when we had our long-awaited food days. They immediately washed away any feelings of doubt or regret that any of us may have had. My science research family has supported me through the hardest times. We did science research in a global pandemic, and we came through it with flying colors. At 3 a.m., I could always count on Shasha to answer my FaceTime, practice my presentations, and convince me that I wouldn't be kicked out the following day. People hung out in the cold outside to work on their STS papers. We made sure that each and every one of us was okay and would be able to survive the pandemic. And we did. We were back in school, and I, for one, spent every spare moment laughing and procrastinating in the science research room with my friends. Pick and I are known as the jerks of science research, which is one of the kinder nicknames that's been attributed to us, as we embark on our battle against stupidity in the world. Of the many lessons he taught me, I always told him that what I most learned from him was how to be a jerk. Well, that's not exactly true. While Pick can be rough around the edges, Pick and Holmes are the kindest, most passionate, and selfless people I've ever met. They never stop working for their students, no matter how annoying and aggravating they are. They really deserve a medal for all the stupid stuff that they have to put up with from us. Like, I don't know how much they're being paid, but given the amount of time he's been emailing us at 4 a.m. about our STS papers, it should definitely be more. I could always count on Pick and Holmes to cheer me up, force-feed me granola bars, tear my papers apart, and make me feel important and loved. They have taught each and every one of us that we deserve all the world has to offer and to make the most of the gifts we have. As we leave for college, I can sincerely say that I will miss Pick screaming at me, sending me annoying reminds at 3 a.m., and yelling in Portuguese just to confuse us. But most of all, I will miss the sense of belonging I felt every time I walked into room 242 every morning. You all created a home for me, and while memories of high school will fade like old photographs, my memories of science research will remain brilliant, colorful, and permanent. So to wrap this up, I just want to say thank you. Thank you to my family for putting up with the past 18 years of complaining. Thank you to Pick and Holmes for your unwavering support, and thank you to my science research family for always being there to catch me when I fall, probably laugh, and take a picture to put up on the quote wall, lifting me back up and staying with me over these past 3 years. I could not have done it without you, and I know that each and every one of you are going on to college and beyond, continuing to be the extraordinary people that you are every step of the way.
Some amazing words by our fellow senior Lizzie. But without further ado, we would like to introduce our two unbelievable, astounding, untiring, and distinguished science research teachers, Mr. Angelo Picarillo and Miss Valerie Holmes. So as they're walking up, I just want to point out, usually we give Mr. Pig and Ms. Holmes a senior gift. We are still continuing that tradition. However, the senior gift is not here yet, but we want to break the news that we'll be getting the science research room a brand new popcorn machine. But as they wait for the popcorn machine, I decided to get Mr. Pig and Ms. Holmes two gifts from myself. So, as you can all see, I have a UNC water bottle, I have a Chapel Hill tie, so I gotta share the love. This goes to Ms. Holmes, and this goes to Mr. Pig.
And thank all of you guys for the food grade upgrade. That's awesome. Thank you. Looking forward to it. So thank all of you for joining us tonight. I do want to give a special shout out to a couple of our seniors and one of our juniors who did a lot of behind the work scenes to share Symposium in a hybrid format. So obviously this year we had to make modifications to how we hold Symposium. I'm really proud of how we were able to join together today. I guess divine intervention allowed us to be able to be here together indoors instead of outside in the tent in the rain. So thank you all for coming. But my special shout out, I just want to give some credit to Nathaniel Itty and Michael Pavlicek and Tim Mason-Goff. You may not have seen it yet, but they have built an extensive website where you can actually watch all of our students, from the seniors to the juniors to the sophomores, give a formal presentation of their research. So normally we would have our big posters, our big wooden boards, and we'd be able to let you kind of browse and get a feel for the outstanding research that they accomplished. So you will be able to check out the website. So here's an example. I think if you guys click under students, you'll be able to see, for example, click on the seniors and, yep, seniors. And you'll see that each one of them has their own page. So go ahead and click on any of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and Jola. Doesn't matter. So next to, when you click their name, obviously you'll see their picture, their formal research abstract, and then below there's their formal PowerPoint presentation that they prepared for presentations this year. So thank you so much to those three. You guys rocked it.
Somebody just said mustache. I'll tell you in a second. Before I recognize one very special person to us, I want to say to Lizzie that it's not a good thing. It's not nice to make an old man cry. So So that was unbelievable. That was great. I think you captured it all. So we'll get back to the seniors in a couple of seconds, but somebody that's very special for the science research program, who has supported us really for as long as he has been at the high school, and he came to the high school in 2001. And 2001, I was thinking about this already. In 2001 was our very first SDS semifinals. It was our very first top 200 in the country. And I don't think it's coincidence that 20 years later, we have 83 of those. And I don't think we could have done it without your help. So Arthur Carlucci is an amazing teacher, and he's going to be retiring this year. And he has served so many roles for us. He has served as a judge in some of our science fairs. He has recruited students from living environment to be in our program. He also happens to be a dear friend of mine. And so too. So Artie, we would like you to come up here because we have a couple of things for you. And if you guys can just put your hands together and clap for us.
I love you too. I'm kind of speechless, which doesn't last very long. I just wanted to congratulate all of you. And one thing I've always thought about the science research program, you have a lot of strengths, but I think you have so much going for you. You have these two remarkable people who work so hard for you. And it's clear that you appreciate that. You also have, you all have talents, but the thing is, when you put talent with guidance and hard work, the world is yours. So I wish you all the very best. Remember, when you leave this program, you're leaving with a sense of pride, a sense of purpose, and a sense of perspective. So I congratulate you. I'm lucky to have been a part of this. So thank you so much for this. Thank you to both of you for putting up with me. And all the very best of luck. Thank you very much.
By the way, this was a total surprise to him. I know he comes to the symposium every year. So we didn't tell him anything. So all he said just now is totally spontaneous. There's nothing prepared, either on our part or his. So it's totally from the bottom of our hearts and from the bottom of his heart that he sincerely means all the good wishes for you guys. So I guess we should go on, and I want to say a couple of things before we bring up our seniors. And it goes without saying, right? This past year has been really difficult for everybody, and it's been difficult for us. But certainly, the message that we've been trying to convey to the kids that it's difficult on us, but it has been a lot more difficult for other people too. They're in a lot more shape than we are. And I feel very fortunate that I get to go to work in Westchester County. I'm very fortunate every single day to go to work with what I call, and your children can vouch for me, the best students in the world. So we learned quite a bit this year. One thought that Ms. Holmes and I were talking about the other day was just think about mentor meetings.
we used to go down to mentor meetings, have to go travel to the city, Metro North, and meet mentors. And this past year, all but one of our sophomores have a brand new mentor. And we did not go to a single trip because everything was done for video conference. So that alone, we are learning as we go. And that's one of our strengths, I believe, is that we're able to learn, adjust, and always keeping, of course, your children as our number one goal. Okay? So, are you guys ready? So, because, in some ways, science research was very different this year. If you noticed, a lot of the pictures that you saw on the video, on the slideshow, they're 2 years old. That's because none of the science fairs that we normally go to, that we have so many pictures of, happened live, happened in person. So, so I was looking at it, and Genevieve, there's one picture of you, you look like you're 6. So, I mean, seriously, I would have picked on you if you were an 8th grader looking like that. So when you guys come up, when I call you up, just come up here, pick up your amazing senior gifts. We also have your senior plaques that it's going to be a perpetual plaque with your chosen awards and recognitions. Yeah, everybody clap. And I guess the first one up. And I did promise that I was going to keep this very short because there are 26 of you, 1 minute each. That's 26 minutes up here. That's a long time. So the first one up is Anjola Olua Adesina, or Anjola. And she's heading to NYU. And Anjola came to the program. I don't think I heard Anjola say more than 2 or 3 words the first, 3/4 of the year. And then I said, oh my gosh, the kid talks. So Angela, why don't you come up here? She's done amazing work with diabetes, and that way, Angela, that way. There you go. And she's heading to NYU, everybody. I must confess that the next, I guess I'll wait. Man, I can be so scary sometimes. So the next kid coming up, he was probably in sophomore year my least favorite biweekly. I had to kind of train my voice to get my voice really sharp so I could start screaming and yelling. And Charlie never was, I gotta give him credit. He was never fazed, not in front of me anyway. And man, I can't tell you how proud I am of you. You came such a long way. Chucky B. Going to Stony Brook. Now, I've known the first of the neurotic 6. I've known her for a long, long time. This next student was a dear friend of one of my twins, and she's been in my house eating paninis and watching The Bachelor, all these crazy things. And it's actually a success story because many times kids that I know really well come to the science research program and they don't do very well. But Nicole was super outstanding. I'll never forget when I first went into her class when we were recruiting her freshman year, and I made the mistake of saying, jokingly, I said, Nicole, by the way, I can't find your transcript, I can't find your school records. She ran out of biology, living environment, and went straight to a guidance counselor. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. I apologize to her living environment teacher. I didn't mean to do that. I was joking. Is she really going there? Yeah, she's going. And if you look at her quote, if you're not type A, you're doing something wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, Nicole Cummings. And she is heading to University of Miami. Right. Hunter, if I remember right, and remember I'm doing this off the top of my head, I don't have anything written down. If I remember this right, I interviewed you in the little room across from the old science research room, right? And I can't remember why. Did you have a class down there? So I didn't bring you up, right? Right, so that explains it, because I've got this memory of seeing you and saying to myself, I don't know about this kid. And so I asked you a sincere question. I said, let me ask you something. Why do you want to do science research? So what happens if you fail? And he said to me, if I fail, I just get up and keep going. And I said, good answer. So in my head, I put a little check next to his name. And then the same day, I don't know if you remember this, I do. The same day, I was walking out of the science wing and you were there. I don't know if you were waiting for some sports related thing, you were there, and I said hello to you, and you were all excited. And I said, yeah, that kid's got to be in science research. And you belong, you did great, 4-sport athlete according to you. I mean, and did great research on concussion. So come on. Hunter Caparelli, ladies and gentlemen, heading to UNC Chapel Hill. Not too shabby. Oh boy, this girl made me cry today. It's time to get even. Lizzie was also one of those that I was introduced early on. And they said, Dad, this came from my daughter Julia, Dad, if there's one person that you should get in science research next year, is this girl. And they knew each other from the musicals and the plays, whatever. And you did not disappoint. Absolutely neurotic. Super type A. She thought that sometime during the year we had a little falling out. Beginning of the year, she thought I was disappointed with her, and that was just the opposite. I thought, if anything, because of what happened to you in your lab and COVID and all these other things, more than ever, you just went up in my eyes because you're so resilient. And you all heard what she had to say. Going to Columbia, again, not too bad. Elizabeth Garbinger, thank you so much. Will. Oh boy. When to start? So Will's headed to Carnegie Mellon, and everybody clap. And Will is unfortunate enough to have a summer job where I'm the boss. But all of the last summer, Will would come over and say, Mr. P, your mask is down. In science research, Mr. P, yes, Will, have a question? No, your mask is down. It was just constant reminder. This is a super young man, amazing research at the Research Center at CUNY. I can't say enough about you. Made us proud in every single way. I look forward to keep working with you this summer. We just saw the Genius Awards together, live feed. That was super. That was really enjoyable. Come on up, Will. Will Kerman. What I remember, while Will's speaking on his sweater, I'll start with Stephanie. Stephanie, what I remember the most about, that's not sure I remember the most. There's so many witnesses here. So what I remember, one thing that stood out, just popped into my head just now, Stephanie, I don't know if you remember, when I interviewed you, I asked you about research, and you said, "Oh, I already do research." I'm like, "What? This kid does research." She goes, "Yeah, I already go to the medical college to research." I'm saying to myself, "How do you do that?" And her mom was working there. And then I met her mentor later that year after she got in, and we went to meet the mentor. And we were sitting at this mentor meeting, and the conversation, instead of what her research was going to be, turned out to be a beer making. And I'm saying to myself, I can't believe this guy. This mentor of ours reaches under his desk and grabs a bottle of beer. And I said, "What brew is that?" He goes, "This is my own brew." The guy was a microbiologist. And on his spare side, medical college, he was making beer. I'm like, wow, I'm not sure this is the right place for it to be. But it turned out that it was a great experience. Unfortunately, COVID had a lot to do with her not being able to return to lab. But Stephanie, as I hate this word, but I'm going to use it, pivoted, and was able to do a dry lab. And her quote in the book, is the best one or the most creative ones I've ever seen. And if those of you that would not know what this means, she says, "I want someone to think about me the way Mr. Piccirillo thinks about Sunil's paper." So that's her way of saying to me, "Mr. Piccirillo, you're boring the heck out of me going over and over again over this kid's paper that was submitted 4 or 5 years ago." So thanks, Seth, and I'm glad that you're here because we haven't seen that much of you because it's been strictly a virtual kid. Everybody, Stephanie Figueroa. This next person made me explore Brooklyn. And I'm a Queens guy, and I took the subway to high school. I took the subway to college, but yet the subway ride to her mentor's lab for the first time, it was the longest thing I've ever done. But what will stand out for me, Genevieve, forever with you, is that you're that type of person that if you say, "You know what, guess what? I was walking, and I almost got hit by a car." And Genevieve will say, "I've gotten hit by a car 300 times. And I'm like, "What?" Genevieve always has something a little more to give. And she's a mainstay in our research program. If I look over to my left, Genevieve is there. Genevieve is heading to the University of Vermont. And thank you so much for everything you've done for us. And come on up, pick up your please. Itty bitty. Nathaniel Itty. So, I mean, how can you not work that name, right? That's a great name, Nathaniel Itty. So we lovingly call him Itty bitty. That's what I do. And like Ms. Holmes said, he's been such a mainstay in our program. He helped put together, if not single-handedly, all the meetings we've had in the central office to put this website together and forms of payment and all these other things. You've done so much for us. I think you've done more for us than we came even close to giving back to you. So thank you so much for that. You're an animal lover. Your research reflects that. And what else can I say? My eternal gratitude to you. Nathaniel, coming up, please. Headed to LMPI. Bonnie Lynn. When I first saw Bonnie Lynn play the violin, or her musical talent just kind of blew me away. And I was told by Mr. Vargas just what a great musician she is. But she's also a great scientist. And she did great work with children with autism at Albert Einstein. Yep. And I'm telling you, if I had been maybe, I'm already 58, we'll be 59. If I had been 70, I don't think I could hear Bonnie speak because she's so low tone. And nothing phases her. She's very quiet. And I'm going to miss you very much. You did your thing. You came into science research, smooth as silk, did your thing. Day after day after day. You also, by the way, just popped into my head, I guess I should mention this. The American Academy of Neurology chooses 10 projects a year, nationwide. Bonnie was one of theirs. So Bonnie, why don't you come up, pick up your fleece? You earned it. This is another of those students who I've known for a long, long time. Her sister went to the program. She was a wonderful student. And Lily has really matched her all the way through. Lily's been amazing. She said that I'm mean sometimes. Yes, I am. I don't know. I think I believe in accountability. I think I believe that the only way to get things done is through hard work. And no one has worked harder than Lily. Her project was really severely hurt by COVID, and somehow she reinvented herself. And Miss Holmes and I got to see what a brilliant young woman she really is. I really mean that. I don't think anyone else, and with all due respect to you guys, in terms of what she did, I know I certainly couldn't have pulled it off. You did what you did in taking your project from a web scenario, making it bioinformatics, learning programming on your own. It's truly amazing, remarkable. Heading to Georgetown, ladies and gentlemen, Lily Mongelard. Oh, there's a reason. There's a reason. I'm going to pull a little mark here, don't worry. We're going to bring up the three eagles together. We'll get the picture, just give me a second. Okay. Oh my gosh. I think you guys got a picture of this. Emily in a boot. Right. Okay. So I'm trying to remember exactly how this happened, but we went to a mentor meeting, our very first mentor meeting, on 168th Street. She mentors at Columbia Medical Center. And Emily had a boot, and she had crutches. And normally, you take the train to 168th Street and you get off there. But the 168th Street is a construction. So we couldn't get off there. We had to get off literally 20 blocks up. And Emily walked every single bit of them. Yeah, you should clap for her. But by the time we got to see this mentor, and it was an easy mentor, if you remember Emily, he wasn't 100% sold. And we had to do a little selling. Then he eventually met his postdoc, Russian, right? She was a Russian woman, right? Yeah, I remember right? And she was very nice. She was like a motherly kind. And I'm telling you, that day I said, this girl's for real. Emily, coming up. Emily Martinez. Thank you so much. We're almost there. Catalina, where are you? There you are. So Catalina learned a lot of Portuguese with her project, as you can tell. She likes to say that Mr. Carillo is her mentor, and maybe I was. And one thing, a project was really interesting project. Catalina is very much into equality. She's a very empathetic young woman. So we thought about this project together. And she wound up watching a lot of Brazilian news in Portuguese. And the idea was to identify just how much the minorities are underrepresented, even in countries where the minority population might be the most populous one. And it turned out to be a really sweet project. You did a great job with it. I believe you finished second at West Central Behavioral Science. Is that right? Memory right? So she's heading up north to SUNY Buffalo. So Catalina, why don't you come up and say hello? Okay, so just bear with me here. We got to give all our seniors a little minute, right? They earned it. So Sally. Sally couldn't find her mentor. True story. So it turned out that when we were writing letters, getting our SDS letters together, her mentor had moved from one university to another. So I was jokingly, I said, "You got to be kidding me! You don't even know where your mentor is." And you probably, Sally, maybe you will disagree with me, but I think that if I was to go back to September to now, you probably spend more time in science research than any other student. Is that right? Yeah. So we're very happy that you're there. You've done great work in trying to figure out what atmospheres might house life. I certainly don't quite get the project because I'm not an astronomy person, but you certainly do. So heading to Northeastern University in Boston is Sally Messer. Hey, Michael. Michael, to me, you are the sweetest person in science research. I don't know what these people are talking about. Michael Pavlicek has been brilliant all the way through. Supportive, not only of his peers. I remember at one time saying to him, "Michael, you have to help yourself first before you help others." He's been really a dream student to have. Outside of the fact that we have a couple of things in common, certainly not intelligence, he's a lot smarter than I'll ever be, but we tend to be blunt, and we tend not to wait very long for something to be done. And you have been really a driving force. I mean, you're a top 40 in the country. You were also another of those students, just like literally, you had to adjust your project, you had another layer to it. You didn't have to, that's the other thing, you didn't have to, your project was already outstanding. But it just speaks so much of what a great student you are and what a great scientist you're gonna be, or a great researcher you're gonna be. Heading to Georgia Tech, ladies and gentlemen, the amazing Michael Pavlicek. the next student, I call her Little Q. I've always done it. I just like that letter, Q. And she came to the program. I remember going to her mentor meeting at Weill Cornell, and she is very quiet, very reserved. She's the one that said that I'm really loud, and she's right. She did really nice work. She likes to hang out with Miss Holmes quite a bit, which is probably the smartest thing around. So she's heading to SUNY B. Also an amazing kid, extremely intelligent. Come on up. Evelyn Q. Christie. Leela, did we ever have a bi-weekly meeting? One? Two in 3 years. And I would always hear, we go over, says, how is this person doing? How's this student doing? How's that student doing? And Ms. Holmes would always say, Leela is amazing. She also did an in-house project, extremely sophisticated project, top 200 in the country. Yep. And I really can't say anything like to pick on you at all, except that maybe we could have ordered the decorations. Maybe. Okay, so heading to BU, Leela Roy. The next student, she's not here with us tonight, but I really need to say a couple of words about her because she was really she is an outstanding student. And Megan Ryan, she's heading to Northeastern, and she did great work at Mount Sinai. And if you recall, I mentioned that Bonnie's project was picked in the top 10 by the American Academy of Neurology. They only recognize 10, but they picked one as the best one. And Megan Ryan won the best American Academy of Neurology projects in the country. Her project, thanks to the Nestle Lab in Mount Sinai, was also top 200 SDS. She was also an ICEP finalist. She was a genius. She basically, the project is recognized by everywhere she entered it. So we miss you, Megan, and hope to see you soon. Another neurotic six, one of the little weasels. So Shasha the other day was making fun of me, and I said, well, there's only one teacher that's gonna get a fleece from Chicago, my little friend, and that's gonna be me, because I'm the one who wrote a college letter. So she's heading to a great school. She's been an amazing student for us in every single way. It's one of those students that's gonna stay, that stays with you forever. Shasha's the teacher. All right, we'll wait for the next one. Okay, we're gonna skip the next one too, okay? I don't think there's a nicest person on the planet than this one. Would you guys agree with that? Seniors? You can clap for it. Good. And it's so hard to speak when I'm asking, I gotta tell you. I call Alexa, if you look at a book, it says, pick, stop, texting me. Alexa has been truly amazing. So that you know, the project that she's doing is now being carried by another student in our program. That's how amazing our project is. Same mentor at NYU. So her project has generated new questions. Her project was the New York representative, was the representative in the National Junior Science Symposium. She was the only one, she was #1 in the state. Clap for Alexa. And you know what? And this is the thing. She did amazing work, always with a smile on her face, always with a wonderful disposition. It's one of those people that you just want to meet and you say, you know what? You want to be my friend? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Alexa Shaw. Heading to our I'll skip the next slide. I won't say that your work was published in a peer-reviewed journal. I won't tell that to anybody. I'll keep that a secret. Okay. All right. If you look at a program, it says, I will never get tired of big snake names. Neuroticism. She's one of the neurotic 6. This student came over along with the other 5 to my house on September 27th. That was my birthday. And she has been really an inspiration to me personally because we know what happened in the lab. We know that because of COVID, it couldn't continue. Yet, you were never phased. You kept on working. You kept being part of us. You hate when we say, we call it by you. I'm not going to do it. That other version of Ella, that other version of Ella. And I will never forget the Double One Weeklies with Michael Pavlicek. It was like a comedy act. It was better than cable. So heading to SUNY D, very grateful, the wonderful Ella Zellweger. Okay, so I left them intentionally the last 3 kids to be called. I got 2 more? What did I miss? Oh my gosh, what am I doing? So the next student, by the way, Faris. Faris led us, just to show you the dedication that Faris has. The seniors were judges at a science fair 2 Saturdays ago, and Faris led the entire group. He judged 16 projects. Everybody clap for Faris. Faris did great work at T-Town. He was looking at the impact that deer had on soil. And he's also another of those kids that loves hanging out in science research. He's quiet, hangs out a lot with Charlie Brown, which is really nice to see. They're both going to the same school. They're both going to Stony Brook. And I understand you guys are going to be roommates. Is that right? Is that true? I was not joking. I thought that was going on. Am I wrong? I'm wrong. Forget that. Scratch that one. But they are both going to Stony Brook. Yes? Both going to Stony Brook. Oh, yeah. Okay, good. I got that one right. So, Faris, thank you for everything you've done. And I love your quote, you know. It's pretty scary when you're alone in the middle of the woods in the dark, which is true, and you did a lot of that. Ladies and gentlemen, Parasite. I gotta tell you something, this next student, Alexa, he gives you a run for the money in terms of being like the nicest kid. We say, I call him Canadian Dylan. We used to have another Dylan in the program, so he was immediately labeled Canadian Dylan because he's from Canada. And he's been strictly virtual, so we haven't seen very much of him. It was actually a pleasure to see him today. And we talk a lot about hockey. He's a Toronto Maple Leaf fan. We all know what happens to the Maple Leafs every year. They lose. And what my favorite story ever for Dylan, and I have to share this, okay? We got a mentor for him, a former student of ours, who was a professor at Swarthmore. And Swarthmore, as you know, is in Pennsylvania. So we actually went on a mentor trip. We went to Swarthmore and we met Maggie. Maggie agreed. Dr. Delano agreed that she was going to mentor Dylan. But there was a little problem. Swarthmore does not allow undergraduates, high school students to stay in their campus. So Dylan somehow was able to convince his parents to allow him to stay in a house with that, they paid for it, but it's in a house and in a room by himself for pretty much the entire summer. But this is the kicker. Right before he was supposed to leave, he had to be hospitalized. So he sends me a picture, and I open up my phone, and here I see Dylan on a hospital bed. And I'm like, what is going on? And my response to him was, so when are you getting to lab? So he said, right after I get out of here. And that's exactly what he did. He checked out of the hospital and went to Swarthmore. So, what else can you say, right? The kid's amazing. So, come on up, Canadian Dylan. Dylan's out there. Okay. Am I good now? Am I good? I know, the mask police is right behind me, right? It's like that, when you're driving and the cop goes over behind you and stuff, you don't know what to do. That's Will right now, staring me down. So, can I take it off? Can I take it off? All right. So the reason I'm going to call the next three up at the same time is because they've been a triad for 3 years. And wherever you see one, you see the other. But the most amazing part is that their research are totally different from each other. Chris did research on oil drilling. Victor did a behavioral science project looking at office space. And Nick did a medical project at Mount Sinai. Yet somehow these three guys are always together. And it's really a lot of fun to watch them. And if you look at the book, on their coats, they really don't make any sense. It's because they're supposed to be linked somehow to each other. I'm not sure what it means. High on just, okay, whatever that means. These code for I'm not smart. I don't know what it is. So we're gonna call them up at the same time, okay? So you guys can be up here. We take a nice picture. All three of you guys picking up your fleeces, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, so I've got, okay, Victor Laval, yeah? Chris Silva. And Nicholas Takuru. Oh, you guys first? Okay, got it. I got it. So, okay, I got it. So, is a little, one of our little, well, what I told them today was that we need to take a group picture because a group picture doesn't exist of this class because of COVID. We've never been able to get everybody together at the same time. So this is a very special moment here for the graduating class of 2021. Everybody, Science Research 2021, another year of record breakers. Okay. No, I just want to say one thing, and then I'll let you know. Alright, one thing that I think a lot of people talked about it today, we thank the community, we thank parents, we thank us. But I think one group that seems to be left out a little bit are the mentors that help your children, that help us students. And we have mentors really throughout the world. Right now, presently in the sophomore class, we have one in Rome, we have one in Australia, Sydney, we have a couple in the United Kingdom, obviously, throughout the United States, and also the ones that are local, that many of them have helped our students for many years. Like, for example, Alexa Shaw's mentor now, who is mentoring her third student, right? I think it's really important, especially since this is going live, and a lot of people are going to see it, that just how important your work is. You do it because you want to do it. It's totally an altruistic activity. The mentors aren't paid. They aren't compensated in any way. The only thing they get out of it, which is really the most important thing, which is what we get out of it, is work with super great kids, and also for the love of science. So I offer my sincere gratitude to all the mentors out there, those of you that have mentored for us before, those of you that hopefully will mentor for us in the future. And if anybody here in the audience can be one of those mentors or know anybody, please don't hesitate, because we always have the next wave of students. We have an incoming class of 38 students in September. It's a large class. A lot of people are excited about science research and asking, so we have to make sure that we give them a little bit of room. So help us out. The alumni have been absolutely tremendous, and I will let Ms. Holmes maybe speak a little bit about that, because she's the one that runs that. So again, thank you so much. From the bottom of my heart, I live in Austin. I'm a community person too. I come to work every single day with a big smile on my face. Thank you very much.
So it's the end of the year, it's the end of the road for these seniors, and I feel like this year I noticed something unusual about this group. I noticed a restlessness in the seniors. And I couldn't put my finger on it at first. It was like, wait, what's going on? And then, restlessness, it can manifest in ways that are productive or unproductive, and we did a little both. But it came to me that I came to realize that these are kids who are used to fighting in a productive way. They're used to fighting to get through every single event that they wanted to have happen, and because of the pandemic. So the summer, trying to piece together a project, this summer in a pandemic, they had to fight. STS, trying to do that remotely, and talk to your teachers, they had to fight to make it happen. Then the competitions, every single competition, it was a fight with technology, trying to do a competition on Zoom for the first time ever, trying to fight with the technology on WhatsApp at Z fairs. These kids are fighters. That's why they were restless at the end of the school year. They were basically done with all the things that they were pumped up and fighting for. They did it. And I can't think of what better role models they are for the new students who are rising, who are going to be next year's seniors. They got through this incredible, challenging year, and now they're ready to put all this energy they have, all this talent, to use in other applications. They're ready to take on what college has to give them. They're ready to take on some of the big problems of the world. Like, I sense it. That's the restlessness. I finally put my finger on it. But that's what it is they want to put this energy to use. And I couldn't possibly be prouder of you guys. Thank you so much for an awesome year.
Thank you, Mr. Pig and Ms. Holmes, for everything you've done. Okay, so that concludes our event. Have a great night. Thank you so much for coming to our in-person event. Love you guys, and good luck next year.
I just have two things to say. One, in the words of Michael Jordan, the ceiling is the roof. Only real UNC fans will get that one. But also, in the words of the late Kobe Bryant, Mamba out. We hope you all had a good time. And all of us seniors wish the science research underclassmen nothing but the best for the years to come. Thank you.